Hey everybody, welcome back to 2 Pixels Off. This is Mike Janda coming at you live from my desk, and I'm here with the B-Dog, the Bradley Demetrius Hussey. What is your, your middle name?
Did I get like a Latin name just now?
Yeah, man. It's Demetrius. It's the mustache. It's the mustache that makes me think this.
So
what is your middle name?
I was going to say Selleck or something. Tom. Raymond.
Raymond. Mm-hmm. So BRH. Bruh. Okay.
The original.
I was always jealous.
Welcome to 2 Pixels Off, a podcast for creative entrepreneurs.
I was always jealous of the people who had their initials spelled something. Like you could be Bradley Aurelius Hussey and it would be Bah. Yeah, right? Or I could be Michael Andrew Janda Madge. That's not so bad.
That's not so bad. That's not
It's not so bad. All right. Well, this has nothing to do with anything on today's episode. First things first, shout out to Wix Studio for making this podcast possible. Wix Studio is an amazing no-code build platform, but it's much more than that. It is a business management tool for a web designer's business. So much stuff packed into it. Check out Wix Studio, and thank you for making this podcast possible and for connecting Brad and I a couple years ago as well. Our connection came through Wix Studio as well. Next thing, housekeeping, leave us a review. They've slowed down. Brad's feeling bad. Before we got on this, he was like tearing up saying, Mike, all the reviews are like bragging about you and how great you are. And then there's no reviews and nobody's ever said a good thing about me yet. And I'm like, Brad, first of all, do a better job and people will want to review you. And then second, we got to do a better job of asking for reviews at the beginning of our podcast. Isn't that how our conversation went? You were weeping and the whole deal.
Yeah.
It was
weeping in your arms. Actually, you want to know? I have a confession.
Okay, what is it?
I've never read a single review of the show.
You have not?
I haven't even read it. And it's not because I haven't tried. It's because for some reason when I look, I don't know where to find them. And then when I go on the iTunes, it defaults to the Canadian iTunes store and there's like no reviews. So I'm like, I don't know. People don't listen or people say stuff and I'm not allowed to see it. So
I've never seen the Canadian reviews, so I should be looking at the Canadian reviews and see, because maybe that's where your fans are, and that's where and that's why there's no reviews yet. Because
probably
I don't know why I'm all ripping on you. I'm ripping on you today. It's unjustified.
It's on the Canadian reviews. It's like, can we make it 1 pixel off and just like ditch Mike?
Yeah. That was okay. All right. Well, enough of that. Brad's great, and we're happy to have him on the podcast. He is Pixel 1. He's Pixel 1 of the 2 Pixels. Hey, and shout out, Brad, to your Creative Crew hat that you have today. Super sick. Shouting out the Creative Crew community. By the way, Creative Crew is Brad's community. It's a free community. Has 2,800 people or so in that community right now. Lots of web designers and other just creatives in general. And we do some free group coaching and things in there as well. So check out Creative Crew. What's your URL? CreativeCrewCommunity.com. That's the one.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Enough of this. We've been babbling on and we haven't gotten to the topic at hand, which is what the freak should people be doing when they don't have any work? The crap hit the fan. You haven't had a project. What should you be doing? Let's dig into that as today's topic and hopefully pull out a few nuggets for people to create action. Brad, what do you have as like our first thing? Have you ever been through a moment when you didn't have work, and what did you do or what did you learn from that?
Oh man. Yes. So yes, definitely. Over the span of like 15 years working for myself, I've had a handful, maybe like 5 to 10 times of like, sort of feeling. Mm-hmm. And what I know now is something that could have benefited me when I first started, but you almost have to experience these you almost have to experience this in order to like really synthesize it into your being. But we can tell you some of these things to what you should know, what you should do, what you should avoid when you have these sorts of problems. But know that, hey, it's okay if you experience it. We'll give you some tips, but experiencing it is almost the best way of learning. So
yeah,
for me, panicking is a terrible place to make decisions.
Mm-hmm.
When you panic, like there's probably science and psychology behind this. In fact, I know there is. I just don't know what it would be called. If anyone knows, let us know. But it's basically when you're in that panicked state, you're unable to like see things clearly. You're thinking immediately and reacting right now rather than making kind of like more strategic moves, even if you're at a disadvantage. So if you have like no work coming in, the inbox is not filling up, no opportunities coming across your lap, you're not making enough income this month, and you don't foresee that changing next month, panicking is a really bad place to be making decisions from. So if you feel that sensation of panic, like, don't make any big decisions. Don't make any business critical decisions. And certainly don't make decisions at night. I don't know what it is, but at nighttime, it's when all the demons come out. So something about it. If you're thinking about like something, you're not doing well, your business is going downhill, and you're panicking, and it's at night, just like do what you got to do to chill out, go to bed, like take your mind off work. Think about it in the daytime. Think about it when you got energy, you've got willpower, and you can start making a little more strategic decisions. But business, like in my mind, is almost like the tide. It comes and it goes, but it always comes back and it always recedes. And if you can almost know that, you can kind of, in a sense, swim out to the breaks and wait and kind of position yourself for the opportunity that will naturally come. But don't panic because you'll drown. How is that?
I like it. Super good. You're bringing in metaphors. You were talking about science. Yeah. Science and metaphors and
5 stars for Brad.
Well, it got a little long-winded, so I'm going to give you 4.5 stars. 4.5 stars. I'm going to add a couple things to the don't panic thing. And you said this at the end, but there is a balance. I saw it over and over again in my business. When the crap is hitting the fan because we're so busy or there's not enough work. And those times tend to balance each other out over an extended period of time. We would always have these super busy summers, 3 months just slammed, but it always was counteracted with a 3-month slower first quarter. That was our kind of slower time. And our busy times were usually in the summer, especially late summer. And I saw that over and over again. So if we take the highs and the lows and we throw it out and say, what's our average? That's what you're looking at. And when things slow down, you have to know that that's the not average thing. It doesn't mean that it's all over and that you're going to lose your company and you're going to have to file bankruptcy and you're going to have to go get a job. It just means that you probably had a busy time before and now you have a slow time, and those things are going to balance each other out. So I saw that over and over again. The other thing that I'd say too, and this you talked about not panicking and at night, don't make decisions, and then think about it during the daytime. I loved that advice. Think about it in reality too. Check your freaking numbers, because a lot of times we get emotional about business and we start thinking, oh no, I don't have any work. And then if you look at the actual data and say, when did I get my last lead and my lead before that and my lead before that and my lead before that, and you see the data points, you may find that it's not as bad as you thought. That there was, you did have an opportunity show up a week and a half ago, and there was one 2 weeks before that, and there was another one 2 weeks before that. And yes, it may be slower than you're used to, but there were actual leads. There was momentum that was happening. Sometimes we get so fearful that we just paint a picture to ourselves and tell ourselves, oh no, I don't have any work. This is going to go down. And emotionally, we start seeing things through this foggy goggles of panic. So don't panic, look at reality and know that things are going to balance out over time. You're going to have busy times, you're going to have slow times.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's step number one in this. You don't have work, don't panic. Know that process. Now, what are the things you should do? Because it is real too that you don't have work. Things do slow down. What do you do? Like, what are the proactive things? If we think about like Newton's third law, I think it is, of for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So if you want opportunities, those are going to come from you, for you, from an action that you take, and then the reaction will be opportunities that come. What are the actions that we should take as a slow freelancer, slow agency time? What are the actions? You got one for us, Bradley?
Yeah.
Demetrius? Bradley Aurelius Hussey?
Bruh.
Okay. What's yours?
What? I'm just reeling from that moment we just had.
It's so good. So good.
I think the first thing that you should do is leverage your current network. So clients that you already did work for and with, collaborators that you've done work for and with, subcontractors, like your current immediate network. That's where like your work primarily will come from. And that's like your strongest network. The people that trust you, know you, like you, have had positive, hopefully, experiences with you. And those are the first people you should be connecting with anyway. Even if you're not in a low period, you should be doing it when when things are good. But if things aren't good and you don't have any work coming down the pike, reach out to your current clients, the people you've worked with, people you've just closed projects with. I mean, if you sat down and you wrote a list of like just everyone that you've done work for in the last month, 6 months, year, you'd probably see that you've worked with a lot of people. There might be small projects or in between things, collaborations that you've done. There's probably a lot there. Well, get to work, roll up your sleeves, and start sending some messages on email or LinkedIn, or Instagram. Maybe you have younger clients who really use Instagram, or whatever other platform. Meet them where they are. Text them, call them.
Give us an example, Brad, of a message that you would send to a recent client on LinkedIn or email or something like that. So things slowed down. You're trying to reach out and nurture some kind of whatever possible seed there is. What would you say in a message like that?
Well, it would be very contextual based on, that relationship. Maybe you did a big project. Let me just think of one. I just recently finished a project for one of my email marketing intensives. I'd probably, and if I wanted to drum up some work or maybe get something moving with that client, I'd probably say something like, hey, so-and-so, I hope you had a great summer. We've been really busy with family stuff and work and blah, 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 blah. Maybe just a little personal touch. Something don't go down the rabbit hole, but, just be personal. How's your summer been? Maybe where they're from. Like, hey, saw that there's been some crazy wildfires down there. Like, is everything okay? Just want to check in. And then you maybe would say something like, hey, I was just going through some of the recent work that we did on our ConvertKit with our ConvertKit clients. And, I really enjoyed working on that project. There's really cool problems that we solved. I just wanted to check in to see, how that's been going. If you have any questions about it. Also, don't know if you knew, but ConvertKit just released these 8 new features, and I'd be super excited to implement those into your strategy. Do you want to jump on a call and see how we might be able to, maybe I'd say, do you want to jump on a call and explore some of that and see if there's something that we could be working on in the near future? Something along those lines. I would trim that up. What do you think?
I think that I was just going to give you a 5 because it was so good. So I took notes of your formula here. We're back scoring each other. This is what we're doing.
I love it. We should rate each other more.
I did like that episode. So I'm going to give you a 5 out of 5 on this. Here's the formula that Brad just outlined. A personal touch, and then you talked about them. So the personal touch of, you talked about you, had a good summer, cabin, blah, blah, blah. Then you talked about them. That's step number 2. Saw the wildfires down in your area. Is everything okay? Talked about them on a personal level. Then number 3, you referenced the recent project. We just did this for you. So you're bringing that back to the forefront of their mind. They're coming into it saying, oh yeah, I remember that project. That was really good. I liked working with Brad. So you're bringing that back fresh. Number 4, you asked, how's it going? So you asked for an update from them on how that work has performed for them. Number 5, you pitched a new thing. So you looked at the industry, you looked at their business, you know of something that can help them more now, and you pitched it in. And then number 6 was a call to action. Brad, it was freaking textbook, man. Textbook. Bravo. It
Patted
was
myself
really
on
good.
the back for that.
Yeah, so
you.
those are the 6 steps. I'm going to review them because people need this. Personal touch, talk about them, recent work reminder, ask how it's going, pitch a new thing, and a call to action. Those are the 6 steps for this beautiful formula that Brad just gave us for reaching out to a recent relationship.
I'm glad I nailed that.
Shocked.
I didn't even prepare that.
I know. I'm
shocked.
shocked though, because okay, first of all,
Let's hear it.
I think of you, when I think of you, I think of hillbilly Canadian. That's what I think of. I think hillbilly Canadian. And then you come out with value like this. And I'm like, man, it's good. It's good.
I like coming up.
You
Sneak
are
around from the side,
exceeding
right?
the expectations of your entire country. Oh,
You don't-
man.
You
I'm
don't
like on
want
it
to show
today.
your hand. You got to make them think one thing and sneak
Yeah.
around the side. You
You
think,
do.
oh, he's unassuming. Not.
Yeah, you do. You make everybody think hillbilly Canadian, and then you come in with this kind of thing. All right. It was really good, though. That formula, I think, is epic. Okay, let me give a couple other things on this list that I would do that reach out to relationships. Super key. That's the first one. You could also do it in a more subtle way. And some of the more subtle things are, you could send a testimonial to your client about them. Everybody loves that. Send them a testimonial that they can use in their marketing. Instead of asking for one for you, send them one. You can do that in a LinkedIn recommendation. So go on LinkedIn, write them a LinkedIn recommendation out of the blue. They're not expecting it. It's a really great way to get back on somebody's radar without asking for the thing. Oh, you got any work for me? Do some research in their industry, find something that's relevant to them and send it to them. Hey, I just saw this article. It's interesting. I think you find it interesting. Connect with them on social media if you're not already connected, and comment on some of their posts. Looks like you had a super fun summer. So you can go, it's like, okay, it's not stalking them, but it's a little stalkery. You're going to go find them. You're going to comment on their stuff, and you're going to remind them that you exist. You could write a Google review for their business. So interesting how many people aren't leveraging that. And a lot of smaller agencies and small businesses would benefit greatly from Google reviews. So go write one, throw it on Google for them. Take somebody to lunch, send them a thank you message. I think that's another good one too. Or a thank you gift of some kind. You're just looking for a way to reconnect these relationships that you had in the past, recent relationships with recent clients.
Yeah, and take into context how long it's been. Like if it's been 2 years and you're like, hey, hope it's been well. You'd be like, where have you been for the last 2 years? Like everything's changed. You can almost sense that you're like, what are you reaching out for? So be honest and take into context, if you haven't reached out to people in like 2 years plus, be really gentle about it, and be really honest. Be like, look, I've been really bad about keeping in touch with some of my past clients, you included. And for that, I'm sorry because, I should have been keeping in touch, and we're making a better practice. We're implementing some new systems to stay in touch just to make sure things are good. I did spend a little time poking around on your Instagram and checking out your LinkedIn or your website. I dropped into the store the other day and bought some of XYZ. Be honest but just like be gentle and have a longer approach with them. Someone you just worked with that you almost have a banter with, you were like, hey, you send them a DM on Instagram and say, hey, it's been a few weeks since we launched the email marketing campaign. How's that been going? Let me know all about it. Hope you're well. P.S. Barbecue looks great. Whatever it is. So you can have varying degrees of that. Right. And give them something of value. Send them a gift card. Send them a gift. Drop in on their shop and buy something. Shout them out. Leave them a review. Whatever it is. Spotlight them. Write a highlight of past clients and then spotlight them, tag them, mention their business, and promo them. That's also another way you can get on their radar, get back on the radar as well.
So good. Love it. Okay, so this is the first two steps. Don't panic, and then reach out to these people, past and recent clients that you've worked with. The next thing I'm going to throw on, this is a little bit of a tangent, and this is where a lot of people go in this panic moment. They go to their portfolio and they start updating their portfolio, and that is not a bad thing. This is the moment that you should be updating your portfolio, creating new case studies, overhauling the design, whatever you got to do. Go fix that critical marketing piece that you have, but it is not the first thing. Only do that after you've reached out to all the freaking people already. You reach out to the people and then you still don't have work. Now you can start working on your more side strategy marketing. It's not the front strategy, that frontal assault of actually taking action and reaching out to people. It's more that subtle, I'm going to work on my brand. Now, I mention this now, Brad, because so many people hide behind updating their portfolio. They don't have work and they're like, I need a better portfolio. That's why things slow down. I got to fix my portfolio. And then they just go and start making case studies. I found myself do this a lot. Go start making case studies instead of actually reaching out to people. If you landed work in the past with the portfolio you have right now, then you can land the work now and in the future with the portfolio you have right now. So it is not the first priority, but it is a priority to do when you don't have work burying you. That's the time to get it updated and fixed.
Yeah. Once you've done those first couple things, hire yourself. Treat yourself as a client for a period of time, where you update your portfolio, you improve your website, your internal marketing, and better position yourself, clean up house, so to speak.
Yeah.
But the other things first, because cleaning up your portfolio and adding some case studies or, adding some extra animations and making the page load faster isn't going to move the needle for you. But what it will do is when you get some more incoming, it will increase your chances because you've improved it. An analogy I can almost draw here, maybe it's not a perfect match, but it's like when you're selling your house, the most important thing to do is, get it on the market and, get some showings and everything like that. If you don't do that, then you're not going to have people know that you're selling the house. A lot of the time people will be like, well, if I just update the bathroom or if I repaint the walls or if I re-landscape the backyard, I got to do that stuff first. You're like, no, you need to list the place and you need to sell it and market it. That said, once you've done that, if you go ahead and re-landscape the lawn, maybe you're not going to improve the value of the home very much. You spend $5,000 on re-landscaping. You're not going to get $10,000 back because of that. But what you might do is increase the perception of value. And that might be the thing that tips it over and makes the sale. And you sell your place. So it's not how much ROI am I going to get on this effort of re-landscaping or adding these case studies. It's once you've done the actual work of listing the place or reaching out and getting potential opportunities, they come in and they go, oh, wow, that case study just happened last month. And whoa, that looks really good. You know what? I'm going to call this person. It's like, it has a secondary benefits, but it's not the thing that's going to get people going, I'm going to hire you because of that case study. It's, you got to actually make the efforts, get movement to create opportunities. The portfolio is secondary.
Love it. 4.75 on the metaphor there. That was solid. I mean, 4.75 is like a solid A. That's a solid A. Maybe I'm going to change to the 10-point scale. I'm going to give you a 9 on the metaphor of the house. List it. You're never going to sell it if you don't list it. And you can keep cleaning the bathroom and repaint it over and over and over again. But if you never list it, you're never going to sell it. So let's list it before we go and repaint it over and over and over again, which is what we tend to do on our portfolio. Never listing the portfolio, meaning getting it in front of the eyeballs of our potential clients. You can marry these two things. So you fix your portfolio and you create an amazing case study. Then you can message it to a recent client and say, hey, I just finished a new case study on my site for this project that we did. I don't know if you know, but we did this project and here were the results. And you can send that out. It's the way to kind of tie those two things together. Don't just put it on your website and think anybody is going to look at it, because they're not. They are not going to look at it unless you drive them to it. Nobody is like wandering around trolling your website trying to wait and see if you updated it today. They are not doing that. You can upload a new case study today and nobody will see it for 6 months if you don't post it somewhere and share it.
Yep.
All right. In this portfolio update strategy, you can also make some concept projects. So concept projects are fake projects for a potential industry or type of client that you want to land. Let's say that your dream is to do restaurant branding. Well, then make up a restaurant brand, go through the full process of naming it and logo design, identity design, down to the interior, and do mock-ups of a back wall and of tent labels and stuff for the tables. Do all the stuff to make it this perfect case study. So now you have ammunition to go to a potential industry that you're trying to land. Now, people tend to not do this either. And I think it's a big miss, because when you graduate from design school, all you have are concept projects and you use those to get a job. It's no different if you're actually doing freelance work. You're trying to showcase your skill set. So make up a project that best showcases your skill set and put on it that it was a concept project. Just label it that. You're not presenting it as anything that it isn't. Don't pass it off as if it was some $300,000 branding project for a client and it never was really a client. Don't lie about it. Call it a concept project, but use it to showcase your best skill set. And then you can take that and market to potential clients in that sector that you want to land.
Yeah, see it like I almost feel like the problem with concept projects is it gets like a bad rap because I think it's marketed wrong. Like it's got the wrong packaging in people's opinions. People think, oh, it's a practice project. It's not real work. So it shouldn't, it's not valuable. But I think we need to totally reframe how we look at concept projects. Like if you walk into an art gallery and you see a painter's work and you look at it, you're not going to be like, oh, well, it's a really nice painting, but did somebody commission that painting? Like, did somebody pay that person for that painting? Or is it just like something they did on their own time in their art studio? Oh, well, it was just a practice painting. Oh, it's crap. Like it's not real because no one paid $1,000 for it. You would never do that ever.
No.
You'd go in and go like, this is beautiful. And I kind of want to commission that person for a painting, or can I buy that painting? So don't see it as like, oh, this is my lowly crap work that nobody paid for, so it's not valuable. In fact, you should see it as some of your best artwork. Use it as a creative exploration. Maybe you want to get more into brand packaging and consumer product packaging, like the goods and the boxes, in the physical packaging. Maybe you want to get into that. I'm like, okay, start designing that. Start making that for a concept project and create almost like your best art. Put that on your profile, on your portfolio, and let them almost walk through the gallery. When you post it on your social media, your Instagram, your Dribbble, your Behance, wherever you're posting it, and let them admire the artwork that you create. Maybe it's an app. Maybe it's just like a concept design. Maybe it's packaging for consumer products. whatever it is, writing, share it as if it's some of your best artwork and not necessarily like a something that somebody commissioned.
Yeah.
Because those will be entry points for people to commission your work.
Yeah. So I'll give you the metaphor while you were talking. I'll give you the metaphor of a landscaper, landscape designer, and installation. Now, if they put in their own landscaping and they make a cool back wall and waterfalls and all the right plants and they trim it and manicure it, make it all perfect, and then they take a bunch of photos of it and put it on their website to showcase their skill set, is that wrong? No, but nobody paid them to do it. They did it for themselves. Mm-hmm. They actually paid money to do it for themselves, but it's not wrong because it showcases their skill set. So don't be afraid to do that. Don't be afraid to do that. Other industries do it and should do it, and so can you. Mm-hmm. The first time I really saw this at a big level was about 15, maybe 16, 17 years ago when Behance, pre-Adobe Behance, started to kind of take off, and somebody had done a rebrand of National Geographic's brand and website. And it was a concept project, and it got a ton of exposure on all of the design blogs, the whole design industry. And now if you go on Behance, you can type in any major brand and say concept project, do Netflix concept project, or do Twitter redesign. Not that Twitter even exists anymore. Facebook redesign, or Instagram redesign, or any brand you can think of, BMW website redesign, and you're going to find tons of people that are doing concept projects on there. And I look at some of that work, I'm like, my gosh, this is so good. I would hire some of those people in a second. Even though BMW didn't hire them, it doesn't mean that I wouldn't hire them because I see the best work that they can do.
Yeah. And one more note on that. I saw some people do this on Instagram as well in Reels. And there's this one fellow, I wish I could remember who it is right now to give him credit, but he's basically a logo designer. And what he does is he will like make a 60-second reel and walk through what's wrong with the current logo, what it should be, what's great about it, and how he would change it and why. And so it'll be like let's call it like the Nintendo logo. He recently did one about the Nintendo logo, how it's kind of unremarkable. It's just text. It's not like, and so he kind of pointed out a few of the problems. And then he talked about the personality of Nintendo and the brand personality. And then he talked about what's memorable about Nintendo. Oh, the analog, like directional pad, the D-pad. And he said, let's incorporate the D-pad as a logo mark, as a brand mark. And then he did that. And then over 45 seconds or so, by the end of it, you have this new Nintendo logo that you're like, that should be the new Nintendo logo. And then it's just a concept project. It's just like a little 60-second reel, but you see his chops as a creative director, as a brand designer, and ultimately as a great content creator as well. And you're like, that guy could design my brand or this company's brand easily, even though I just saw a free concept project.
Yeah. It's a great example. I've seen a few people doing that on Instagram and TikTok and stuff, and they get a lot of exposure from it. They get a lot of followers. It's easy content to consume. Yeah. Okay, so let's use that as the segue into the next point, Brad, which is get active on social media. That now's the time to start the commitment to your daily posting on Instagram, or your weekly article that you post to LinkedIn, or your once a week YouTube channel that you've put off starting for so long. Now's the time to start it. And don't start it only in the lull of work that you have. Start it as the new thing that you're going to implement for the ongoing time period of your business. I always recommend that people choose one social media platform and they go all in on it. That's the choice. So you make your choice on whatever resonates best with you. It might be X, it might be Instagram, TikTok, go down list. Could be even Facebook. Like Facebook's not very crowded anymore with businesses and things. Maybe there's an audience there for you. could be any of those kinds of things, could be your own personal blog, but start. This is the time when things are in a lull to start that habit and get some momentum on it. Again, this is not the first thing to do. This is down the list after you reach out to people and try and drum up work. But it is on the list of things that you can work on when you have the lull. And before you jump in on that one, Brad, all of these things are actions that generate an equal and opposite reaction. That's the law that we're trying to adhere to. So if you're posting, then you're going to get a reaction of opportunity that comes because you're taking action.
Yeah, exactly. It's like an active approach. And maybe something I would add on that is like, don't just create like meaningless, unremarkable, unfocused content. Like if you're just posting like, hey, I went camping, cool, that's nice. Like, but who cares? It's like, make it have a purpose and give every post some sort of call to action. So in that gentleman that I just talked about previously, who does these logo redesigns, at the end of every reel, it's the same clip. It's a little clip that he puts at the end. It's just him. It's his logo in the background, like a neon sign with his name and his brand and probably a website or whatever. And then he kind of walks in and just kind of gives like a thumbs up. And that's like the same bumper at the end of every reel. Mm-hmm. And so in a sense, and I'm sure in his caption, it says, discover some more of my work at, my link in the bio, or comment, and I'll send you a link to my latest work or my course or whatever it is, discovery session. Always have a call to action. So post something and tie it into your call to action. And that could be to, get on your email list, to follow you on social for more, to book a discovery call, to download your free, template, whatever it is, to get them in your ecosystem. Do that. Don't just have it be aimless and just throw away. Have it be something that always ties back to bringing them into your world.
I love that. Okay, that's a great segue. You're killing it on the segues. That's a great segue to the next topic, which is to build some kind of a lead magnet that you can use to capture audience. You have a lull. Now's the time to do it. If you have not started building your email list, you're way behind. You need to start right now building your email list. So create that lead magnet, 10 things to help your brand in 2024, or five ways to market your business on Instagram, or something that is of value to potential clients. Create that thing and then gate it behind an email acquisition form.
Here's another.
This is where you're like master of this stuff, Brad. This is what do you have to say on this topic?
Oh man, it's definitely a must. Having a lead magnet of some sort, and there's opportunities for lead magnets everywhere, and it depends on your audience and what your objective is at the end. So if you're thinking about it for clients, think about what the clients really need, and then find the 10% of that can like get them like solve a little bit of a problem for them. It's just something quick that they can implement, or they can get value from quickly. And I was just thinking, excuse me, one of the opportunities that we have now is with Wix Studio. There's the templates marketplace. You can actually create templates now that you can share. Before, we had to like create components on the site, and then you could like share a library. There was always there's a backdoor way of doing it, but it wasn't very intuitive. But they took the feedback, which is, I got to say, Wix is super good at when you give them feedback or like product ideas, or you're like, the community's like, we really need this. They actually do listen. And those quarterly Open Studio announcements are where they tell you like, this is where we're announcing some big features. And so one of the recent ones was the templates marketplace, and you could create a template. Let's say your clients are restaurants, and you create some sick, killer, out of this world restaurant concept sites in Wix Studio, and you turn them on as templates. You could offer that template as literally a one-click install into their Wix Studio site. Could be for free. I mean, it could be products. It could be something you sell. If you want that to be your primary, if you want that to be kind of like your business model, you sell products and you don't do as many services, or your services maybe are an extension of the product. Like we'll do it for you, we'll customize it. Or it could be your lead magnet. We have a 1-page must-have menu design for your restaurant. It incorporates this, this, and this. It's easy to update. It's super fast. It's responsive. You can't beat it. And it's using our signature style. Add your own colors and you're done. Download it here. Name and email. They're in your list. You can send them your weekly newsletter about design in the restaurant world or whatever your newsletter is about for your clients. They install the site. They go, you know what? I'm not a web designer. I like this style and I like this designer. I'm just going to contact Mike. Hey, Mike, I downloaded your template. It was really great, but I got to be honest, I don't have the time to do it all. What does it look like for you just to take care of it for us? Thought you'd never ask. Let's jump on a quick call and we'll take care of it.
Yeah, I like that. So it's a lead magnet to capture audience, but it also is a product that you're offering that could be paid or unpaid. And that is another strategy. You can finally make the freaking product that you've been meaning to make. Film the course that you've been meaning to release. A course could be for your clients, how to get the most out of your new brand. And you film a little course for them. Give them something. And when you have the lull, that is the time to act on those things. All right, Brad, we have time for one more little juicy nugget here, and that is the be patient nugget. Be patient. We started with don't panic. We're going to end with be patient. Both of those things are super, super important. I am a big believer that the plan for you as a freelancer is not to fail and go bankrupt and go live on the street. I am confident that that is not the universe's plan for you. I believe that new opportunities are going to come. Now, sometimes that new opportunity may be new clients. Other times it may be, okay, new clients aren't coming. It's time for me to get a job. And you go get employed and you build a new network of people. And 6 months later, you do it again. Freelance, full-time, smarter and wiser than you were before. That might be the plan for you, but just be patient and know that there is a plan concocting. And you're in the river, floating down the stream, and you got to let that plan reveal itself to you. So just be patient and go with the flow of the river while it's going. Take action to paddle in the direction that you want to go. And these are some of those actions of getting active on social media or concept projects or updating your portfolio, reaching out to clients, past and present, creating a product. These are all things that are action oriented. And then just see what happens. Be patient and see what happens.
Yeah, I think that there's an element of surrender that you have to embrace. You can't control it all. You can't control what's going to happen. And something about us like kind of surrendering to it and just like letting go and just doing what you can do. And that's what this list is like, here are the things that you can do. The rest, you don't get to control. And your benefits and your results may vary, and the timelines may vary, and your success level may vary. But here's what you can do, and here's what you can't do. Don't bother trying to do the things you can't control. Just surrender to that. Be patient. You know, there are ebbs and flows. There's a tide almost in business, just like the ocean. It comes in and it will recede. And it's the seasons and the times of day and all of that all affect it. So for you, it's just do what you can do, just like we outlined in this list. And for the rest of it, just be patient, surrender to it, enjoy the quiet before it gets crazy again, and just be prudent as well. You know, you'll have less stress if you make smart decisions. If when you're doing really well, you sock some of that money away, you pad that bank account so that there are times when you got to dip into that. Got to have that runway. So when you're doing well, you know, temper yourself. And when you're not doing well, be patient, prepare, and do all the things that you can do. The rest of it, you can't do anything about it anyway. So just let go.
Surrender. I pulled up Cheap Trick. Surrender. Cheap Trick, the band. Cheap Trick.
I love that song.
Surrender. Mommy's all right. Daddy's all right.
All right.
They just seem a little weird. Keep going, Brad. Sing it up. Sing it
Surrender.
up.
Surrender.
Yes. That's the one. But don't give yourself away.
Daddy's all right. Just
we're going to get flagged on YouTube right now.
Uh-oh, copyright strike. Copyright.
Ding, ding. Okay.
Demonetized.
That is, I think there's the surrender is what a great word. Not that we want to surrender like in war and battle or whatever. Sometimes we should. Sometimes you should and spare some lives, but that's not what we're talking about here. We're just talking about surrendering to the universe's plan for you that is not going to be complete epic failure and destruction. That is not going to be the plan. All right. This was a fun episode. I think we crammed in some value. I think I think I gave a lot of great answers, and I think I did a super good job getting you to say things of value, like my questioning and the way that
really
I pulled that stuff.
Out.
So I really think that this is all about me, and I did a fantastic job. I do.
You get
I
5
did
stars.
such a good job. Oh, so good. I feel it. I'll give you 4.5 stars for
just to make sure that
just
there's a
kidding.
order here.
So here's the deal. I grew up with 4 brothers, and it was like, I can't stop myself, man. When I feel a brotherly kinship with someone, I'm like, I can't stop myself from the jokes. But they are jokes. I do think that Brad has a mediocre level of authority and skill set. And I'm grateful that he makes his best effort to share that on 2 Pixels Off. So thank you, Brad. See, I can't stop.
That was good. Can't stop, won't stop. I have 1 brother, so I mean, I get it, but 3 brothers, it's
4.
next level.
It's 4 brothers, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It is
basically
4 brothers. No
you didn't
sisters.
eat if you didn't hurry up and get the first
Oh,
meal.
That's truth, man. When I sit down with my brothers to eat, nobody's talking. You're just shoveling it in, man. You shovel it in because if you don't eat fast enough, you don't get seconds, and then you walk away hungry. That's the problem. That is the problem.
That is the problem.
All right. Well, this was super fun. Thank you for listening to this episode of 2 Pixels Off. We appreciate you. And shout out to Wix Studio for making this podcast possible. And drop us a review because Brad really needs it, especially if you're in Canada. There's no Canadian reviews. Brad is feeling sad. Like sad. Like it was I felt bad for him because he was crying so much before we turned
maple
on the
syrup
camera.
tears.
Yeah, it was bad. So give Brad a review, specific review just for Brad. I got enough people shouting me out and telling me I'm so great. And Brad needs it. I'm just kidding. I need it too. I need it too. All right. Thanks,
Trash
everybody.
talk Mike in the Canadian reviews.
We'll see you next time on 2 Pixels Off.